Today we're going to be taking a look at Employee Slate, powered by Moveworks. This is AI that's not just bolted on, it's actually embedded throughout the whole experience here in ServiceNow. It's conversational first, AI native. It's accessible through the browser, your cell phone, Teams, Slack. This is going to help employees find what they need and complete their everyday work using some really advanced reasoning. Also worth noting, it's WCAG compliant and it translates to over 100 languages. So we're seeing the first search here. Maria's searching for information on tuition reimbursement, and she's able to see pretty quickly. ServiceNow brings up a summary of knowledge articles and also allows her to click on a knowledge article. And so what you'll see on the right-hand side here is this knowledge article is 7 miles long. She doesn't have time to read all this, so she's actually able to type in, hey, how much am I actually eligible for? And Moveworks will actually go through and summarize that and distill down just the information that she needs so that she doesn't have to spend a year reading all of that. So as you can imagine, the ability to quickly summarize articles or get information, key info, very fast, it's going to save employees a lot of time. So let's take a look at another option here. Some critical thinking that we can actually impart on Moveworks. So we're going to ask Moveworks to help get access to Zoom and Figma. So this isn't just one request, this is multiple requests happening at the same time. Normally you'd have to go to multiple different catalog items to do this, but Moveworks can actually search across ServiceNow and pull together those different catalog items and requests. And then I don't even have to click on both. I can just say, yes, I want both of those things, and it automatically is going to submit both of those on my behalf. So what I want to do now, I actually want to show the approval of those. So we're moving over to Natasha's screen here, and we're going to look in her notifications. We'll actually be able to see the approvals for both of those requests have rolled in here. So Natasha is now tasked with approving both of those before they're actually provisioned on Maria's behalf. So the first approval here, we're seeing all the information that Natasha needs to know in order to know what she's approving for, who this is for, what's being requested. So she goes ahead and approves. Again, doesn't even have to go into the full request. It's just right here in the same chat that she could be using for any of the other requests that she has. She's going to go back into her notifications and finds that one other approval. This is for the second software request. This one's for Figma. So same thing. Requested by, requested on. She can approve right there in the screen. And ServiceNow with Moveworks takes care of the rest. So we'll be able to go back in and impersonate Maria. We're back on Maria's screen now. And just very similar to like the Claude or ChatGPT experience, she can go back to her recent chats there on the left-hand side of the screen, and she'll be able to click the access for Zoom and Figma, and that'll actually show her the updated status now that both of those have been approved. So moving on, we're going to go back to the home page here, and she's actually going to be able to submit another request. So she's, let's say Maria's having some issues with her monitor. She's going to be able to go into that chat and say, hey, my monitor keeps flickering, I can't figure out how to fix it. And with that AI power, ServiceNow and Moveworks are going to be able to search across knowledge articles and catalog items. So it's suggesting different options for her. It's actually pulling from knowledge articles. But Maria's saying, hey, none of these options worked. Can I actually get a replacement? So it goes through, again, looks through all the catalog items, and it suggests a couple catalog items for her. But she says, I actually want one monitor like Abel's on my team. So she submits that. ServiceNow is smart enough to look through its inventory and see what monitor is assigned to Abel, and then provide that catalog item right there in the screen for Maria. So once she verifies that catalog item, she can go in, click into it, and right there in the same screen, this is way different from legacy ServiceNow, right there in the main screen without even leaving chat, she can request that monitor. She submits the request, and then she's actually able to close out of this screen and move back over into her main portal. Now what you're looking at here, this is maybe one of the most innovative parts of Slate, and what Maria's looking at here is her canvas. This is a fully configurable workspace. So Maria's organization has actually curated a set of widgets that are based on her role and her profile and what she's empowered to see across ServiceNow, but she's not just a passive recipient of these widgets. She can actually make this space her own. She can resize and rearrange and drag additional widgets from a library right directly into the canvas, and we're seeing that library here on the right-hand side. So what we're actually seeing is Maria scrolling through the widgets that have been made available to her. As she scrolls through and decides which one she wants to add to her home screen, she can select a couple, and then those will be added in automatically. So there, again, this is personalizing her screen and her view. These widgets don't necessarily apply to peers of hers or anybody else on her team. These are specifically for her. So this is each individual person making ServiceNow Canvas their own. So next, she's actually going to update the phone number of her emergency contact. So she's submitting that here in the Moveworks chat. And it's responding back. It's going to say, okay, I understand the phone number that you want me to update this to, and she'll confirm. Then it's also going to just, again, it's doing some critical thinking. It's saying, hey, who is this person? She'll say, well, this is my spouse. And so she'll go ahead and submit that. And then once she is all finished with this request, she'll go back into her main homepage. And some more diverse functionality here. She's going to say, hey, give me the details of the purchase order I made back in November, and I want to add 1,000 of what I ordered if they're not already there. So once she submits that, ServiceNow is able to look back through its records and archives. It can find a couple of POs, and it'll ask her, hey, is it the first or the second one? She can respond, oh, it's the first one here. So it pulls up the details of that. Then it's actually asking her, okay, what's the unit price? And so she can input that information, and then it goes ahead and it updates that purchase order. So she's, again, very quickly adding that line item to the purchase order. This would normally take scrolling through multiple back-end ServiceNow tables to do all this that she was able to do in just a few seconds with this chat feature. She can ask other information throughout the system. So she's asking, hey, for this Technova renewal, what are the next steps here? And once she submits that, ServiceNow is able to pretty quickly summarize that information for her, and she wants to actually send a non-disclosure agreement over to this person with this example company. So ServiceNow is able to not only process that request, but actually generate that non-disclosure agreement, pull together that email information for her. She can adjust that as necessary, make adjustments to the email, and then actually go ahead and submit it, and ServiceNow will send that on her behalf. It saves her quite a bit of time rather than having to manually pull all of that together. So similar to Google, we can now use ServiceNow to actually search externally to ServiceNow. This is, again, like using ChatGPT, like using Google. So this isn't just confined to the knowledge base. This is actually searching the broader internet. You can imagine, and rather than having to put in knowledge articles for all of your hardware devices or even your ERP system, if it's just generally available knowledge that's not proprietary to your company, your organization could use that world knowledge to actually search out in the external web. And what we're seeing here is the enterprise knowledge. So this one is inward facing. So she's saying, okay, now I want to search the company's travel policy. Obviously, that's not going to be publicly visible. That's just within your company. So a little bit of training for your enterprise to know when to go to world knowledge versus enterprise search. Then some pretty cool filter functionality here. So on the far right, you can see, well, we've got ServiceNow, SharePoint, all these other connected systems. And so you can actually just filter down to just what's in ServiceNow in knowledge articles versus actually using Moveworks to search SharePoint or other systems, which you can very readily do. That's what it's meant for. We're going to show an administrative view here. And again, this is an admin that would have to do this, but what you're going to see here is actually vibe coding a new widget. So all the admin has to do, they don't have to know how to code anything. They can just describe the widget that they want created to be able to put out in the available widgets for people to put on their canvas in Moveworks. So the agent literally just using plain English described the weather app widget that they wanted, and so long as that information is available to ServiceNow or the global search, it could pull all that in and display it in that widget the exact way that that administrator had described. And they can then publish that widget for the broader organization to be able to put into their canvas. Again, that prior one was searching the external web. Now this one's going to search information within ServiceNow. So using, in this case, information captured in workplace service delivery, hey, show me how many conference rooms we have and how many are available right now. So very quick, easy widget to add, and employees are then able to place that into their own canvas. Thanks for watching this demo of EmployeeWorks powered by Moveworks on ServiceNow.